What's the most savage thing a teacher has said to you? Senior year. This kid Josh thought he was untouchable because his dad was on the school board. He'd show up 20 minutes late every day, interrupt class, talk back to teachers, the whole deal. His dad donated a new football scoreboard and renovated the teacher's lounge, so the administration basically let him do whatever he wanted. Mr. Walters was different, though. He was this older guy, maybe late 50s, who'd been teaching history for 30 years. He was one of those teachers who actually cared, stayed after school to help students, brought in donuts on test days, wrote recommendation letters, but he had zero tolerance for disrespect. For the first month of school, Josh tested him constantly. He'd walk in late with food. Mr. Walters would mark him absent. Josh would argue his case. Mr. Walters would just keep teaching. It was this quiet war nobody talked about, but everyone noticed. Josh's friends thought it was hilarious. They'd laugh every time he strolled in late like it was some kind of performance. Then one Tuesday in October, we're learning about the Vietnam War draft. Mr. Walters is explaining how young guys, barely 18 years old, got called up whether they were ready or not. Had no choice, shipped overseas within weeks. He's actually getting emotional about it because his younger brother died over there in 1968. The whole class is locked in, actually paying attention for once. You could hear people breathing. That's when Josh strolls in 30 minutes late. Not 5 minutes, not 10, 30 full minutes into a 50-minute class. He's got a Starbucks Venti cup in one hand, phone in the other, AirPods still in his ears. Mr. Walters stops mid-sentence. He's holding up this black and white photo of soldiers in a jungle, and he just freezes. The classroom goes completely silent. Even Josh's friends aren't laughing. Josh doesn't even look up. He's checking his Instagram as he walks to his desk in the back row, taking his sweet time. Mr. Walters very slowly puts down the photo. He walks to the center of the room, arms crossed, and just watches Josh sit down, take out his AirPods one by one, and set up his stuff like nothing's wrong. Finally, Josh notices everyone staring. He looks up at Mr. Walters and goes, "What? My bad. Traffic was crazy. Nobody breathes. We all know something's about to happen." Mr. Walters nods slowly like he's thinking. Then he says in this eerily calm voice, "Josh, do you know what they called people who showed up late in Vietnam?" Josh leans back in his chair, smirking. He thinks this is going to be some boring history lesson he can ignore. His boys in the back are grinning. What? Dead? The word just hangs there in the air. Josh's smirk falters for a second, but he tries to recover. Mr. Walters walks toward him slowly, and I swear the temperature in the room drops 10 degrees. See, in war, you don't get to blame traffic. You don't get a Starbucks run. You show up when you're supposed to, or people die because you weren't there to cover their position. Josh shifts uncomfortably in his seat. Okay, but it's just class, man. Relax. The worst thing he could have said. Mr. Walters stops right at Josh's desk, looks down at him. Just class. He looks around at all 32 of us sitting there. These students showed up on time. They're here to learn about people who sacrificed everything. They respect the material. They respect each other, and they respect me. But you walk in here 30 minutes late like you own the place. Josh tries to interrupt, but Mr. Walters cuts him off with a hand. Your father calls me every single week, every Monday at 3:45 p.m. Do you know what he asks me? Josh's face goes from confident to pale in about 2 seconds. Mr. Walters, come on. He asks why you're failing my class. Why his son, who he's paying $200 an hour for essay tutors for, can't pass basic American history. The whole class is frozen. The girl next to me, Zoe, has her hand over her mouth. Josh's friends in the back are looking at their desks. You want to know what I tell him every week? Josh doesn't answer. He's staring at his Starbucks cup now, face turning bright red. Mr. Istrakis. Walters leans down so he's at eye level with him. His voice gets quieter, which somehow makes it worse. I tell him that his money can't buy his son a work ethic. I tell him that entitled doesn't look good on a college application. And I tell him that one day the real world is going to hit you so hard you'll wish you were back here learning basic things like showing up on time. Someone in the back, I think it was Ben, whispers, "Oh my God." under his breath. Josh's hands are shaking. I'd known him since freshman year. Never seen him speechless before. His whole persona just crumbled. Mr. Walters straightens up and walks back to the front of the room. He picks up that photo of the soldiers again, looks at it for a long moment, and turns back to us. Now, as I was saying about young men who thought the rules didn't apply to them, he went right back to teaching like nothing happened. Josh sat there the entire period frozen, didn't say a single word, didn't check his phone once, didn't move except to breathe. When the bell rang 20 minutes later, he was the last person to leave. I saw him throw away that Starbucks cup on the way out, still full. Next day, he showed up 5 minutes early, sat in the front stride too. OP made this post in our Spig Boot problems. My friend wants me to wear a bridesmaid dress that will expose myself to everyone. Post by you, Cerebral Cortisol. This is the bridesmaid dress for my friend's upcoming wedding. Unfortunately, my only two options are death or flashing the entire audience. Yes, I've already talked to her about how this is physically impossible for me to wear, and asked if I could wear a more modest substitute in the same color or fabric, or at least wear a long sleeve shirt. That's my skin tone under the dress. Her response was that I shouldn't worry because I'll look great. So no, I'll actively be flashing her future mother-in-law or something. And that she wants perfect uniformity for the pictures, so no undershirt. And that this dress fits her effortlessly classy theme. I personally will not be looking classy in this. As you can imagine, we've been friends for 12 plus years, and in her words, I'm absolutely not allowed to drop out at this point. Not that I want to, but guys, look at this thing. So, send prayers and structural engineering advice if you have any, I guess. Scaling stories. Oh my god. I would be wondering if I'm truly attending my friend's wedding or if this was a secret hater conspiring for my downfall. Lol. As for advice, I'd say meet with your friend privately, one-on-one, and try it out if you must. But surely there's another option that's possible. If she still insists that you must wear this to her wedding, if I were you, I would respectfully drop out, because I want to be able to hold on to the respect I would lose had I attended wearing that. Top/relevant comments. Commenter, is she getting married in a strip club? Ops response, the reception is literally in a club, but she says she's going to transform it into something elegant. I really want to ask her if she's sure the theme is classy and not exotic danceresque. Commenters too. Maybe I'm the old prude, but it feels legitimately rude to choose a club dress as a bridesmaid dress and force your friends of all sizes into whatever this is. Ops response, exactly how I feel. I don't want to rain on her parade, but this is just not possible for me. Of course, I support her choices, but this one is really questionable and kind of insulting. Commenter 3. I would 100% wear a skin tone bodysuit under this. There is no way I would go out in public just for this. Maybe give her a few days and revisit it. Sometimes people get excited and forget the laws of physics. Ops response, I love you so much. Yes, this is my plan. I'm going to try it on in front of her tomorrow and pray she sees straight up why this isn't going to work. Commenter 4. I wouldn't consider that dress classy for a wedding. I agree with wearing a skin tone bodysuit or something. Ops response, she's an interesting gal with very unique taste. I love her really, but I think the wedding excitement is fogging her brain a bit when it comes to gravity and physics. OP to another commenter. Everyone else consented and loved it when she showed us the other day. I was the only lone veto, and they thought it was because I didn't like the design, but it's legit because I can't wear it. I hope tomorrow when I try it on for her, she sees that I need something under it or a different dress. Update. One day later. Hi guys, I'm sorry. I didn't know how or where to post an update, so I'm just going to make a new post. I'm sorry. Update. My friend came over like we agreed, but she didn't tell me she was also bringing her mom and mother-in-law. So I was a little caught off guard. Her mom. I kind of understand since she's known me my whole life and bought the dresses for all the bridesmaids. But I don't know her mother-in-law at all, so I felt a bit intimidated. Things needed to be seen and said about the dress though, so I asked my friend politely to come into my room so I could try it on in front of her. But her mom insisted I show all of them since she was the one who spent good money on it and didn't see how it could be as bad as I made it out to be, insisting her daughter chose something befitting of all us girls. Okay, Ani, whatever you say. I tried to say it was a bad idea, but her mother-in-law butted in to say she wanted to see why I was making such a big deal out of nothing. Like, I know I always wear baggy clothes and don't show my figure much now, but my friend's mom watched me grow up, dies, and at the very least, she knew I was a G cup in middle school and an I or J in high school since I've gone shopping with her on multiple occasions. Anyway, I just kind of think, F it. Everyone here is a woman with lady bits, so it's nothing they haven't seen before. And say, okay, aunties, I go to put on this atrocity, and guys, let me tell you the series of unfortunate events that unfolded. First, I hear some seams stretching and snapping as I slither and shimmy into this thing. Then I look in the mirror, and oh my god, the fabric, I knew it was thin to begin with, but when I saw the way it stretched across the curves of my tummy and hips and ass, that crap became sheer. Straight up see-through. The middle snake's head popped out from its fabric loop. So, its tail was hanging on for dear life in its fabric loop that was just loosely hanging down at that point, since it wasn't being pulled taut by the other end of the snake. I didn't bother fixing it since the point was to show her how bad the dress was. My stretch marks all over my hips and inner thigh were on full display. People, the slit, oh my god, please. The slit wasn't even to the side of my leg. It was basically centered because my thighs are chubby. So when I walked or just moved in general, that crap fluttered in the wind and you got a full view of my ha. Yes, I went ballless and pantyless because every set of panties I owned would be visible in that dress. And finally, because I love dramatic effect, I try to get my boobs into that tiny-ass panel of fabric at the top. It doesn't work. What an effing surprise. So instead, I just let one flop out the bottom of the panel, so I have enough room for my singular other tit to sit inside the panel. But in doing so, I had to angle my tit sideways, with my whole areola showing through the center of the snake. I walk out with a little twirl and ass shake, everything jiggling in the wind, and I feel the breeze on my... You know what? I do a whole number for them, bending over to pick up some lint on the floor, performing a mock waltz with an imaginary partner, jumping up and down to some non-existent music, serving them chai with my tit on the table, sitting on a dining chair in front of them so they see I'm clearly pantyless and ballless. My friend is dying laughing. Okay, that seems like a good sign. Her mom is wide-eyed and looks a bit embarrassed, but has that understanding glint in her eye too, you know? So I was like, okay, great, I'm in the clear so far. Then I look at her mother-in-law and the woman looks like I just mauled her dog. She was so red in the face. I haven't been yelled at like that by anyone other than my mother in years. This woman I barely know is spitting and screaming in my face that I'm a wee and kaffir and doing this on purpose to ruin a friend's wedding because I'm an attention seeker, yada yada. Nobody cut in or attempted to de-escalate or save me from the onslaught of her foul breath. They left a while ago after finishing their chai while I sobbed silently on the couch in front of them. And yes, I changed into a normal skirt and sweater for that. Anyhow, all is well. I am no longer a bridesmaid and have been disinvited from the wedding altogether. The mother-in-law said it was between that and not letting friend marry her son because she associates with people like me, which I understand. Maybe I went overboard, but agreeing to the ultimatum in front of me hurt a bit. So, yay. This might be the worst day of my life. Rest in peace to a 12-plus year friendship. She was like my sister. Scaling stories. Wow, what the hell? Based on how you described the fit once you put it on, I struggle to imagine how the mother-in-law couldn't imagine how it would possibly look on you without needing to try it on. And she was the one who insisted you do it. And your friend too. You would think if she valued you like a sister too, that she would have defended you. I'm so sorry that all happened to you over something they insisted you wear, despite you knowing it was a bad fit in the first place. Top/relevant comments. Commenter, oh my gosh, I am so sorry this happened to you. I hope these three go around and see every bridesmaid in the dress. Then either the mother-in-law will fire everyone or insist on a new dress. How dare she belittle your concerns and then clutch her pearls when you show her what it would look like for you to wear it and move around. Commenter 2. Oh my god, who the hell? You don't need friends like this. If you had been a model, skinny and fit in that trashy dress, you'd still be in the wedding. Wow. Not only your friend, but her mother whom you've known forever. If they didn't stand up for you, seriously, screw them. I'm sure I am older than you. And I can say without reservation that this is the kind of sliding door moment in your life when changes happen that you look back on. You'll be better for this by standing up for yourself, even if it hurts now. You don't deserve this. Watch Muriel's wedding tonight if you're alone and feeling blue. Girl Power, Commenter 3. I've been thinking about your post all week. Thank you for updating us. First off, hell yes for owning how insane this dress was and going full on Miss Hannigan with your dance and shimmy for them. I'm kind of blown away by how you were initially blamed for making a big deal out of nothing and how they thought this dress was perfectly appropriate for a wedding in the first place, and then for the mother-in-law to lash out at you was completely out of line and insane. You did them a favor by showing them how awful the situation could have been, and for her to uninvite you from the wedding is even more insane. I hope your friend reaches out and asks you to come. You can wear something tasteful that fits your body and show that foul-breathed old hag that when you're not forced to be flapping out in the wind, you're actually a lovely person. I'm so sorry that it happened to you.